Hello and welcome to my garden and the dinosaurs who live there. I'm sporting my Santa hat because we are now on the last weekend before Christmas, trying to look cheery and get into the Christmas spirit. Of course, it is a bit of a challenging time right now. This is Sunday. Last night there was an announcement by the Scottish Government and the UK Government about changing the restrictions around about us being able to spend Christmas with each other and travelling to see friends and relations and so on. So it's not very great at all. Unfortunately, the virus seems to be as strong as ever, given the mutation that has happened, and I'm talking about here in the UK, although I think it has mutated in other parts of the world as well, but I'm in the UK, so that's what I've heard about most. So yeah, I know there's probably a lot of people around at the moment not feeling tremendously happy, and that's understandable. It's, you know, the restrictions have affected us in different ways. But, you know, similarly the virus is going to affect people in different ways, and you don't really want to give it a chance, do you? I certainly don't. So we were going to have family round on Christmas Day within the, you know, the allowable constraints, i.e. no more than 3 households. Oh, kitten! Just clawed my leg. Yeah, so we were going to have folks round. But we've made a call and decided, no, we're not going to do that, just to be on the safe side, because it does seem to be that this virus is now spreading a little bit more readily than it was before. So we'll just have to deal with it and get on, and we'll do, you know, we'll talk to each other via Zoom or whatever, have some Zoom calls and sort of at least stay in contact. In Scotland, we go into lockdown on Boxing Day, for at least 3 weeks, so really after Wednesday the shops will be shut other than essential shops, and that will be us. So it's going to be a different Christmas and New Year, but we just need to stay safe and do what we can do to try and ride out the storm, I think. So to that end, what we're going to do today, it is December and I haven't done a garden tour this month, so I thought I would take you around the garden to show you what's happening there. It is December, so you know it's not full of things, but there are some things happening, and I didn't do a tour in November, so I thought it was about time I gave you a little look-see. So batten down the hatches and let me take you around my garden in the west of Scotland in December. Okay, starting on the deck, not much happening in the veg truck outside the kitchen door. We've still got beetroot hanging around there. We've got a little leek there that was a little stray that I popped in, and there's a couple of garlics that have come up now here and here. It's called Checkmate, and that was some that I hadn't put anywhere else. And then we have some of this Lakeland lettuce, which, even although we've had some cold weather, it's doing okay. Over here we have 3 cabbages. Now some of it's getting a little bit windswept and interesting and a little bit chewed, but generally I think they're looking okay. They're small, but we'll give them a chance. And it's called April. This is called April. I think they all are. And if I just swing you around to, oh sorry, someone's doing some work, down to this trog, this is, there we go, there's a little white turnip there. We've got some very strange looking turnips here. I think we just need to give that one a bit of space. I'll get rid of these. Oh, I'll get rid of that one anyway. Out of the way. Yeah, and that's a little bit weird shape. There's an okay one in the back there. Here we have, this was sorrel. And then there's a little strawberry runner that's just plonked itself in there, so I'll take that out shortly and I'll pop it in a pot. This is lemon thyme. Still getting a lovely smell from it. Isn't it? That looks like a tomato, and don't ask me why it got there. And then we have some lemon balm and some more Lakeland lettuce. In here we have, now I've actually had this lid on. Excuse the noise. Oh, someone's busying themselves. Let's just lift this lid and see what we have in here. So we have pak choy, a little bit chomped on, and some more Lakeland lettuce. It's not doing too much. And then there's some parsley there. That is just hanging on in there over the winter. Okay, I've opened up this grow house and you can see my carrots here. These are Eskimo, and another Eskimo here. I've just popped these in just to get them out of worst of the weather. And bad person, here's still some cabbages that I haven't actually transplanted anywhere. And then the rest of the things in here are, well, there's some echinacea. There's a little strawberry runner in there. Some more echinacea. And some more echinacea there and here. So I'm assuming this is just going to die back now and it'll come back stronger in the new year. So I just popped it in here to protect it a little bit from the weather, since it was in pots. Down at the side of the grow house there's a sage that's doing quite nicely in a pot again, and I really have ignored it all year, but it is, yeah, sitting pretty. Up on the edge of the deck there's some curly parsley. Doing okay. Okay, I'm at the side of the deck, or the front of the deck in fact now, and these are some Shakespeare onions, overwintering onions, and there's not any, oh, there's one that's actually sprouted. The rest are just sort of hanging on in there. Oh, there's another one there. Exciting. Sorry, I'm banging this camera against the edge. So okay, we've got some starting. That one looks as if it's going a little bit green at the top. Yay! This is my rock rose, which is fine. Obviously not flowering at the moment. Over here in this trellis trug, I've got some more Shakespeare onions, and I can see we're starting to get some green shoots now, so hopefully they'll get underway. In this one we have some elephant garlic, nothing appearing yet, and someone's been in at it and scooped out some of the dirt, but it's looking okay. Over here in the bean bed I've got some sparkly Christmas lights that come on at about 4 o'clock in the evening. At the back there's some beetroot, and here in the right hand side we have more Checkmate garlic, which is doing fine, thank you very much. And over in this side is my own garlic, and it went in a couple of weeks before the Checkmate and nothing appears to be happening, but I did have a dig about and it was rooting, so this is just going to take its time, I think. So the pond is, the vegetation is dying back. And at the edge of the pond, in the pots, these gladioli are dying back. I've got a couple of ferns still looking fine. The middle fern there, I think it died actually, because it wasn't great when I put it in that pot earlier in the year, and now it hasn't really done anything, so I think that's dead. Rainy, rainy, wet, wet. I better get the camera under cover. Okay, in this little raised bed, have I got any rain? In this little raised bed, there are some cabbages that were doing well, but they're getting a bit chewed in there. I may have to investigate. Although the sort of centres of them are looking okay. To be fair, I've just left them to it. Kale is okay. Not growing up to be anything big. And then in here I'm going to have to do something with this. There's still leaves in here. There's some, is it cairngorm? Leeks in here. I just need to tidy the bed up a little bit. And then on the Christmas, keeping on the Christmas theme, here we can see my Brussels sprouts in one of the plants. There's actually a few plants around. I think these are what do we call them? Bursting, or expression, jeez, blown, that's the one. I think these are blown, unfortunately. But I will either grab them and use them, or I will give them to the chickens. Same here, down at the bottom, maybe blown, and then some little ones up at the top. And the centre's looking nice. I hear that's a bit of a treat, eating the tops off your Brussels sprouts. Ooh, the weather's caving in a bit. Now as I look down towards the sheds and the chicken run area, you'll see something that looks a bit of an eyesore. I'll be talking about this on my Chicken Tuesday video this week, but there is avian influenza, bird flu around in the country at the moment, and we've now all got to keep our birds under cover. We're not allowed to let them free range. We've got to protect them from wild birds which carry this bird flu. So although my run's under cover, but I regularly let the girls out into the garden, and of course I can't do that now because they would be, you know, mixing where wild birds are mixing. So what I've done is I've put a tarp up and battened it down and got some debris netting as well, and basically created an area around the run that is completely protected from wild birds, which means I can let the girls out of their run and they can play around and about their run, and it just gives them a leg stretch so that they're not stuck in their run for an inordinate amount of time. And the last time this happened 3 years ago or thereabouts, they were basically in lockdown, their own version of lockdown, until March or April time. So yeah, it could be a long haul, so that's why I've constructed this. It's already been battered by the winds, but I keep adding bits to it to try and keep it tied down, and we'll see how that goes. But anyway, so a bit of an eyesore, but it's important to keep the girls interested and give them somewhere to play. Looking back down the garden, you can see that there's a lot of shrubs and plants just hanging about, not doing anything very spectacular, but you know, it's winter time, so they're just doing what plants do in winter time. If they lose their leaves, they'll lose their leaves, and if they don't lose their leaves, they just sort of batten down the hatches like the rest of us. Here's another sage, which seems to be pretty robust, a pretty robust plant, just like the other one over near the deck. Over here I sowed some alliums and some irises, and I can see there's some green shoots just starting to come. There's one there, for example. So hopefully I'll have a nice spring show of flowers there. And this is another area I've done that with. I think it's tulips I've got in here. So they're not coming up and about yet, but they will do. And here's my lovely lime green Hukura, which is popping in this weather. A little bit of colour here with the remains of the Rudbeckia there, and some lemony pansies. And just in the back there's Cyclamen, which does of course well in the winter time, and this is still giving us a nice bit of colour. I must show you down here. Obviously I had an honesty there. I didn't intentionally have one, but it's obviously been a little volunteer, and it's easy to tell honesty with these amazing seed pods. And something else that's striking at this time of year is the dogwood or cornus. Look at that. I hope you can see that in the video. The striking. This is an orangey red colour of the branches now that the leaves have dropped. It's great to bring a bit of colour into the winter garden. And I do have another one. If I just go here, and you can see there the striking colour of the branches against the back wall there. It's great. Right, if I just swing round now, here's something else that's coming into its own in the winter time, and it's this Mahonia. I'm always in two minds about this plant because it's vicious. I mean, it really is vicious. Very, very pointy and very sore if you touch those leaves. But look at the beautiful flowers. So striking at this time of year when there's practically no other colour in the garden. And it's a very architectural plant. It grows and takes up a lot of space, and really, it stands proud. So yeah, I like the Mahonia, really. I just wish it wasn't so painful when you got close. I'm back at the side of the pond, and I just wanted to show you this Hukura, which is another striking one, this sort of burgundy colour. It's quite large as well, quite a large plant in a pot, and it is looking fantastic. I'm just moving down to the terrace beds, and a little while ago I did a video showing you me planting some bulbs down here. So I put in some irises and some alliums, and some crocuses as well, I think, in this area here. And you can see I've now got some shooting bulbs coming up. I'm assuming they are... Did I put miniature daffodils in here as well? I'll need to check. Because it potentially could be the miniature daffodils if I put them in. Otherwise it's probably going to be the... Well, I put alliums in, so this may be the alliums. I don't know what it is. I don't recognise the leaves. I could just guess it might be the irises. I don't know. So yeah, but anyway, something's sprouting. So that's nice. And then in the background there you can see the wild ginger, which is nestled behind that rock quite happily. I think that foliage plays a really important part in your garden. It's not always possible to have colour in your garden, particularly at this time of year, so relying on different colours of foliage and shapes of foliage, I think, just helps to make your garden a little bit more interesting. So things like that, the wild ginger, very small, but looking at the bed, it just gives gives you something to look at, and the lovely little glossy roundish leaves, which is really nice, compared to the the big rhododendrons here. Another leaf shape, but another, you know, bank of green colour. And then over here we can see there's a fern and some ivy. Again, different shapes, different colours of leaves, and it just gives a bit of interest to the garden. And now here you can see the hydrangea. My mop head hydrangea is doing its best to flower, and there's quite a lot. There's also interspersed in there the paniculata hydrangea, Pinky Winky, which is around and about. I don't think there's any flowers on that left actually, but here we can see my mop head hydrangeas. Oops. And there's one that's properly in flower, and there's a lot that are very green at the moment. But yeah, it's all happening. It's actually a bit big for where it is. I think I'll need to give it a good old prune at some point. Oh, and there's little Ollie, who's maybe not so little now. You've not seen him for a while. Hey, you're a big boy now. He works the cat flap. He goes in and out himself, and he's got a little buddy that he plays in the garden with. Don't you? Don't you, Oliver? Psst. You're just wanting to play with the thing hanging off my camera, aren't you? So I think that's all that I've got to show you today. I hope you enjoyed this little look around the garden, and yeah, if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe to follow me in my gardening, chicken keeping and quail keeping journeys. Subscription's free, and it just makes sure that you don't miss any of the videos that I pop on to YouTube. I think that's all from me for now. I would just like to say, have a wonderful Christmas if you can, but please stay safe, and we'll come out the other end of this, and things will hopefully get back to some sense of normality. But yeah, take care and stay safe, and I will talk to you again very, very soon. Bye bye for now. Bye.